I mean, clearly diversity of all types, be it experience level or culture or even disability or gender, as we're speaking about today, is important, and it's simply good business. It means that we can better understand our customer and consumer needs and really sincerely know that it leads to high performance and diversity within a team. If you look at the efforts within Cargill, we do have ambitions around diversity, as I mentioned, in a number of areas, but a heavy focus on inclusion. So creating the right environment so that people feel comfortable speaking their opinions and having a different opinion. And it's through that inclusiveness that we're looking to enable more diversity within the organization. So fundamentally, it's the right thing to do, and it's good for business and good for performance. And we want to make sure that we create the environment where people are comfortable being different and having different opinions. As a senior woman in the ag food industry, I think it's, as I said, very important for high performance and for good business. It enables us to reflect on the needs and perspective of our customers and of consumers, and to tap on the broadest possible talent pool. Sincerely know and believe that it enables innovation and enables acceleration of growth. As a business unit leader in Cargill, as a key leader, and simply as a woman in my role, I have to own it. And most importantly, I think it's about leading by example. And I think that's for men or women in any organization, about creating an environment that is inclusive and open for differences. For myself, I proactively and informally try to connect with women across the organization, providing networking opportunities and coaching in a very informal way. Because I think literature shows, and we know, that some of the more formal mentoring programs tend to fall short if there's not a natural connect. So I try to enable for women and other diverse individuals in the organization a natural networking opportunity, particularly focusing on younger individuals that we bring into the organization, that they feel that it's inclusive and that they don't have to be like everyone else to contribute and to fit in. I think within the team, the leadership team in Starches and Sweeteners within Cargill, I'm very rigorous about setting targets and holding people accountable to those targets, and that we review regularly if we're not making the progress that we expect to make. And then when I'm out at our locations, is to make sure that I connect with the key talent, both women and men, but diverse candidates that we brought into the organization, again, that they have an open dialogue and that we can understand from their perspective what's important. I think that I reflected a lot in preparing for this discussion today. And this article, the Catalyst Report on Engaging Men, What Change Agents Need to Know. And I have to say, if I look back at my own development and my career over time, there were a lot of key men, men as champions for true diversity, that made the difference. And they encouraged me to take on assignments I didn't think I was ready for, and would have probably not have even considered myself as a candidate. I liked another article I read that said that men would put in for a job they think they're 20% ready for, and women will only put in for a job they're 80% ready for. And I looked back at my career and thought, the times I did that, it was because somebody encouraged me to really give me the support and the encouragement to take on. And so although I have run into resistance, I would say I've been very fortunate to be surrounded by also people that were the champions. When it comes to resistance, I think the most important thing is that we create an environment that's open for the dialogue. So if somebody's willing to say that they feel there's an inequality being created by our diversity efforts, at least by them being comfortable to say they feel that, then we can have a dialogue and talk about what are their concerns and what are the facts. And that's what I consider so important, is that we don't shoot the messenger when they ask the question, but that we encourage the dialogue by listening to their concerns and then addressing some of their fears. I think in the Catalyst article, they referred to lack of champions being related to apathy, fear, or what they refer to as ignorance, but I would prefer a lack of knowledge. And I think by looking at it that perspective and trying to take a holistic approach to inclusion, you can address those concerns. One of my favorite stories is I worked in operations in Germany. I was the only female and the only foreigner at that time. And somebody came in my office and said, "I don't know what it's going to be like to work for a woman." And I thought, wow, that took a lot of courage. I was an older engineer, for him to come in and actually say that to me. And then I had to laugh and say, well, neither have I. I've never worked for a woman either. So I said, I think together we find a way. So I think it's about that. If it's an open environment, then you can address and then deal with the lack of knowledge and the fears. So. I think it's comes back again to the inclusion and creating an environment where people are comfortable enough to say they're uncomfortable. That if something happens, we can talk about it. And I think it's really about, I mean, no one likes inequality, but there's a lot of lack of awareness about what that means. And I think being able to have an open dialogue and creating an environment of inclusion is really really the solution. But I would also say it's not easy. I'm faced with challenges all the time, but I think we have to be open with our organizations and with and hold our leaders accountable to championing and enabling the change. So, Cargill just launched a new 3-year strategy around diversity and inclusion, and that heavy focus on inclusion is important because, you know, if you're not careful, diversity can just mean hiring to the numbers. But if you don't create an inclusive work environment, your retention will suffer. So I think it's really creating the right environment is the solution.